Good evening. Today we shall be dealing with ECG case number 7. The title is The ECG Just Lost Its Balance. So please like, share and subscribe and press the bell icon to get further notifications. This is a 32-year-old male who is an alcoholic who presents with burning chest pain for 1 hour duration. On examination, he appears to be under the influence of alcohol. So you can have a look at this ECG and have a look at the options on the side. And if you require further time, you can press the pause button or you can go ahead. So you have option A, give a PPI, which is a proton pump inhibitor. B is you activate the cath lab. You diagnose it as a clear-cut case of STEMI, and you activate the cath lab. 3 is you diagnose it as unstable angina or NSTEMI. You diagnose this as a prolonged cardiac pain and heparinize it. 4 is you take serial ECGs, and 5 is you send a TROP-T and relax. So what do you do for this patient? If you look at this ECG, a cursory glance will give you a fairly normal ECG. There's no gross abnormalities on this ECG. At the most, you can see subtle T inversions maybe in 2, 3 and AVF. And apart from that, there's no abnormalities seen on this ECG. Although your ECG machine reads this as having an infra-posterior wall infarct, it is undetermined now. Never rely on your ECG machine's diagnosis. At the most, you can rely on for it to calculate your intervals, especially your QT interval, which is generally fairly accurate. Never rely on your ECG diagnosis. There's no evidence of an old inferior wall MI in this case. So what do? Giving a proton pump inhibitor would be logical. An alcoholic with burning chest pain, fairly young male. It could be an alcohol-induced acid peptic disease. It would take a brave doctor to activate the cath lab, to call the entire cath team, including your cardiologists, cath technicians, and nurses, with this ECG, because there is no obvious clear-cut evidence of STEMI. If you look carefully, you might find there are maybe prominent T waves in V1 to V4, but it doesn't look to be abnormal. And option 3, unstable angina or NSTEMI, depending upon your TROP values. Again, difficult to diagnose an NSTEMI with this case, especially since you have an alcoholic patient with burning chest pain, not a very typical pain. The correct option would be to take serial ECGs. There's a very famous saying, one ECG deserves another. So you take an ECG, you always confirm, you repeat the ECG and confirm your findings with previous ECGs. So always compare with old and new ECGs. The last is sending a TROP-T would be logical, although the chest pain is just of 1 hour duration. You expect to be negative, but you will get a baseline TROP-T to compare with further TROP values. So TROP-T also would be a fair choice in this case. So the correct and most appropriate answer would be to take serial ECGs in this case to see what's going on. Now he brings an ECG just taken 6 months ago. Again, looks to be a normal ECG. I would like to bring your attention to the T waves. You have a look at the T wave in V1. It is slightly inverted. Again, not a very prominent T wave. And have a look at the T wave in V6. The T wave in V1 is usually inverted or it could be flat. At the most, it is a very small T wave, which is generally much smaller than your T wave in V6. So your T wave in V1 is always smaller than your T wave in V6. This is called normal precordial T wave balance. So a normal precordial T wave balance is a T wave in V1 which is smaller than a T wave in V6. Now have a look at this ECG. You can see the T wave in V1 is taller than the previous ECG, as well as it is taller than V6. So this is a new tall T wave in V1 as well as a loss of normal precordial T wave balance. So a taller T wave in V1 when compared to the old ECG, as well as the T wave is more prominent when compared to V6. So you have two signs in the ECG, which is a new tall T wave in V1 as well as loss of normal precordial T wave balance. Now this sign in the background of chest pain is very suggestive of an ACS. Now, this doesn't mean that you diagnose it as a STEMI and then you thrombolize or you activate the cath lab and do a primary. But again, this mandates serious concern and requires confirmation by further ECGs. This is an ECG after 1 hour. You can see the ST segment is elevating. You can see frank ST elevations in V1, V2, V3, V4, V5, and V6. Some ST elevations in 2, 3 AVF. This indicates probably a mid LAD lesion because of the ST elevations in 2, 3 and AVF. The trop you can note is normal because it's too early. It's around 2 hours since the onset of chest pain. Again, early values of trop are usually normal even in an extensive anterior wall MI. This is because trop takes 2 to 3 hours to elevate. So troponin is not a criteria to thrombolyze or to take the patient for primary PCI. Again, ECG after an hour shows, you can see frank ST deviations from V1 to V6 and 1 in AVL and ST depressions in 2, 3 AVF. Now you can see an ST depression in 2, 3 AVF indicates that the lesion is in the proximal LAD. So probably thrombus must have formed and it has migrated to the proximal LAD. Extensive thrombosis starting from the mid LAD has now extended to the proximal LAD. You can note the pattern in V4. This is called as a tombstone pattern. You can see that there is no descending limb of the QRS complex. The ST segment, ST elevation has merged from or started from the descending limb of the QRS complex. This is called tombstone pattern or shark fin pattern. Now, whenever you have an ST elevation starting from the descending limb of the QRS complex, this indicates a very severe form of myocardial injury. It is called a type 3 injury and indicates that the Purkinje fibers are involved. Now, the Purkinje fibers are the most resistant to ischemia, so even they are involved. So it indicates an extensive form of myocardial injury and need for immediate intervention, either thrombolysis or PCI. So T waves are normally inverted or flat in V1. If there is a positive T wave, the T wave is smaller than V6. This is normal precordial T wave balance. So a new tall T wave in V1 and the loss of precordial T wave balance indicates that you should have grave concern for ischemia, especially when the patient has symptoms of an acute coronary syndrome. This is actually a form of hyperacute T wave. So this does not indicate that you should immediately thrombolyze or do a primary PCA. It indicates that you should perform repeated ECGs and see what's going on. This was described by Marriott a long time ago, and keep in mind this important sign. So this is a 50-year-old male with typical chest pain. Again, you can see a T wave in V1 is much more prominent than the T wave in V6. You can see the loss of normal precordial T wave balance. Unfortunately, we don't have an old ECG to confirm whether there's a new tall T wave, but again, we have sufficient evidence for a loss of normal precordial T wave balance. What are the exceptions? You can have a prominent T in V1 when you have a high voltage QRS complex like in left ventricular hypertrophy or in case of a left bundle branch block. You can see this is a case of left ventricular hypertrophy. You can see a very tall QRS complexes with a strain pattern, and you can see a prominent T wave in V1. This is again a left bundle branch block where you can see a prominent T wave in V1. The prominent T wave is due to repolarization abnormalities occurring in a left bundle and not due to ischemia as such. So keep in mind that you can have a tall T wave in V1 in case of high QRS voltages and in left bundle branch blocks. So keep in mind this important sign. You might be able to save a life. And if you like the video, please like, share, and subscribe, and press the bell icon to get notified when a new video uploads.